Hey everybody, welcome to video 3 on section 1.2, 2.1, finding inputs and outputs, and we're going to continue on finding input values by solving equations. So here's examples 3 and examples 4. So let A equal Q of R be the area of a circle of radius R, where R is in centimeters. What is the radius of the circle whose area is 100 centimeters squared? So they know the area is pi r squared, so we're given area is equal to 100 centimeters squared, and we need to find r. Okay, so we got to solve this equation for r. So you have A equals pi r squared. So by substitution, right, we have 100 equals pi r squared. So now you could abbreviate pi for 3.14, but let's go ahead and do this out. So pi is a number, so we can divide each side by, we're going to go ahead and divide each side by pi here. And so we're left with 100 over pi equals r squared. To undo a square, we square root both sides. And we only have to look at the positive number since we're talking about the radius of a circle here. We want the radius to be positive. We don't need to think of the negative root there. So we're going to square root both sides, square root this. And we can use our calculator here. Take the square root of 100 divided by pi. And so r is approximately, I got 5.642, and that would be centimeters, I believe, because they said radius is in centimeters. Okay, so that is how you find the input value. You were given the output. You were given the area. The output was equal to pi r squared. You're finding the r value, the input, the independent variable. Right? The radius is not dependent on anything. The area of the circle is depending on the size of the radius. So that's a good way to think about it. So let's look at number 4, and this is using a table of values. It says the table below shows the revenue R is equal to F of T received by the NFL network from the network TV as a function of the year since 1975. So here's our table of values. And number 1, they ask us to evaluate F of 20. So we need to look at the table and find when T is 20, right? Because T is the input. So here's T. T is the input. So T equals 20. That happens right here. T equals 20. So F of 20 is equal to 1097. Okay, that's in millions. Okay, so if you have 1,097 million, right, 1,097 million, that's technically billions. We would read that as 1,097,000,000. That's a lot of money, $1 billion in TV revenue. And so they ask us to interpret that. So you would say since T equals 20, the year is 1995. Okay? And what they're saying is that the NFL's revenue from TV, so the NFL, so you could abbreviate the NFL's TV revenue. You could write 1,097 million, and I'll do that, 1,097 million, but hopefully you realize that's in the billions of dollars. That's 1,097,000,000. Okay? So that's how much money they made, which is a truckload. In part B, they're not asking us for the output, they're asking us for the input. So in part A, we had the input of 20 years. And so in part B, they're saying solve and interpret F of T equals 2,600. Okay, so basically, what years, if any, did the NFL make 2,600,000,000? So let's look at our table. Okay, and if you look at the table, you can see right here is where we have 2,600,000,000. So 2,600 million. So we have to interpret that. Okay, so we would say that in, well, 20 years past, or 25 years past 1975 is 2000. So in 2000 and 2005, the NFL made $2,600 million, $2,600 million in TV revenue. And that's how we interpret that. So if you have any questions or comments about example 3, please feel free to go ahead and type them below. We'll see you next time.